Hi, my name is Nicolas Cuevas, and I will be talking to you about face-to-face communication versus digital communication. Think of an era where everyone is glued to his or her computer, and face-to-face contact is extinct. Think of a time where one no longer talks to someone on the street, but rather people complete their work at home and never get to go out of their bed. Although this is quite exaggerated, our world is slowly being conquered by digital communication and its hidden and detrimental consequences. According to a 2005 Kaiser Family Foundation survey, children from the United States between the ages of 2 and 17 are spending more time using social media to interact with others than participating in face-to-face interaction. This increase in social communication leads to the rapid disintegration and rare skill of face-to-face communication. UCLA scientists found that 6th graders who went 5 days without looking at a smartphone, television, or other screen activities were better at reading human emotions than 6th graders from the same school who spent their time looking at digital devices. UCLA professor Albert Mehabran found that 58% of communication is by body language, 35% is by vocal tone, emphasis, and pitch, and a small percentage of 7% is by the content of the message. Successful communication is the only way to a successful relationship. So why would you want to resolve a problem with only being able to use 7% of your potential? Face-to-face communication is the only efficient medium of communication where we can instantly interpret tone of voice, body language, facial expressions, and gestures in order to deduce the meaning of another's message. This can also help the speaker draw on visual cues from the audience to gain immediate feedback and make adjustments. However, when we communicate through digital media, we lose the capability of accurately interpreting someone's message or emotional response. Ironically, having all this powerful technology is supposed to help us be more connected. Yet, it is disconnecting us from the world around us. Digital communication can produce problems in industries, such as the business world, decreasing our sensitivity to emotional cues, thus greatly decreasing social skills. In business, where face-to-face communication is crucial for building relationships to make a profit, many executives are guilty of taking the easy way out with just an email. One cue that is received throughout face-to-face communication is facial expressions. According to psychologist Juka Lepanan, emotion perception isn't innate, but learned, and continues to develop through late childhood and early adolescence. This learned skill leads to trust, understanding, and a real sense of connection between people that can make a huge difference in the world. Although face-to-face communication may be difficult in situations like long distance, there are a few steps to reclaim face-to-face communication. The first step to preventing excess digital communication is by creating a device-free time and space. Just the mere presence of a device, whether it is in your pocket or across the room, can change the communication dynamic. Clearing one's schedule for conversation and facilitating more conversations at work and home without any devices may help. The second step is dialing back on multitasking. Multitasking has become very popular, but in reality, efficiency is decreased tremendously. Sherry Turkle, a clinical psychologist and director of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Initiative on Technology and Self, suggested that the tendency to chase the high of multitasking is a human vulnerability that we have to overcome. Lastly, one should create the 7-minute rule. This means one usually determines whether the conversation will be interesting enough to pursue, and if it is not, then one tends to pull out of that conversation and pull out their phone. Therefore, you should let the conversation unfold and see where it goes without judging or leaving prematurely. In fact, if there's a halt in the conversation, let it be. The 21st century has demonstrated that there is a lack of comfort with the classical face-to-face communication and prefer to hide behind digital communication devices. I worry that in such a system of not valuing the significance of interpersonal relationships, This will lead to less trust, less meaningful relationships, and poor social skills. We need to keep in mind the importance of face-to-face communication while technological abilities are being maximized. As Warren G. Bennis, an American scholar, organizational consultant, and author once said, learning in a face-to-face human community, as humans have evolved to do over hundreds of thousands of years, may always be the ideal, especially in an endeavor that is as relationship-driven as business.